Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Let's Talk Ghosts. Today, I don't know how we got here, but we're talking about an episode from Mythos where he's discussing a video of the Ouija Brothers. And the episode he's talking about is the episode that they question, is it paranormal or not? And it's called the I Love You care home.
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't know how we got
I
here.
I found it.
Oh, okay. How'd you find it?
It's my fault. I just clicked on it.
It's your fault, all right. Yeah, you made me sit through that. Jesus Christ. But anyway, this episode is, first of all, I'm going to preface this by Mythos obviously loves the Ouija Brothers because he's fangirling all over the place. And it actually turned me off at one point. It was so bad, but we'll get to that. So what they're doing in this episode that he's reviewing is they are showing, actually I made a note that they were showing raw footage. No, they weren't showing raw footage. They sent him the raw footage. That's it.
Right.
But anyway, they're showing the video of them going into this care home, the supposedly abandoned care home. And it's almost like urban exploring because they don't know if it's haunted or not. Whatever. My first thing is this place did not look abandoned. To me, it just looked empty. It was in very, very good condition, except for, and it took me a while to see it, was more than halfway in when they had one of the guys standing in the foyer just inside the door. And then one of the other guys is with the camera facing him. And behind him was the front door. And you could see where one of the panes by that door handle had been busted out so that somebody could reach in and open the door. We talked about that at one point and I was saying how, why don't they just lock these places? And apparently it was locked because somebody broke in. And then they just covered it over with a piece of cardboard or something. And people continue to come in. So they're breaking in to a place where they're not supposed to be. And they knew they weren't supposed to be there because they talk about it later.
Yeah.
That pisses me off right there. Now, I like the Ouija Brothers. I like their investigative style. But I do not like people breaking into places where they shouldn't be. This clearly was not an abandoned place. It was in good condition. For crying out loud, there was still toilet brush clean for the toilet bowl cleaner up in the bathroom with a roll of toilet paper. So it's not abandoned. Might have been empty. And we find out later why, but we'll get there too. So how did you feel about it in the beginning?
Well, I liked it. I liked the whole thing. You're the person who didn't like the video.
It's not so much I didn't like it.
No, you said I don't like the video.
I turned it off halfway because of Mythos's fangirling. Like the investigation itself, no, it's fine. They think they hear footsteps. I mean, it's hard to tell in these old places. And it's hard to know if they were alone in the building. They didn't show it at the very beginning, but this place is really big. It was an old care home for the elderly. So they had like the main house part, which is what they're showing us. But then when they zoom out later on for the second half of this video, you see how big it really was. Like there's a whole section that carries on. So you don't know if there's somebody else in there. And I think there could have been in the first 10 or 15 minutes where they're getting all these sounds. it could have been people that were there, could be homeless or whatever, and then they scoot off down the other end where there's nobody so that they can't hear them. That could have been all this "I love you" whispers. Do you know some of them I wouldn't even have picked out as "I love you." I think some of them were
Turns into, you see the writing on the wall, and that's what it's saying,
yeah,
and
exactly. It's
same
just like
thing.
pareidolia
Yeah,
when you think you see something.
yeah,
This is just the
yeah,
opposite. And
yeah,
and that was what Mythos was going off on. Oh my God, oh my God. Oh, it's at the same time. Oh, shut up. Clearly the
yeah,
fellows, as they were investigating, I don't think they even heard it clearly because
yeah,
they knew they heard something and they
yeah.
heard a bit of it, but I don't think they put it all together that it said, "I love you," until later when they were
hmm
listening. And then that's when they thought they heard. But there was
Yeah,
quite a few times that
and
I
that,
could hear a whisper, but I couldn't make out what the whisper was.
yeah,
So,
and
and then later on at the very,
and
very end, Mythos says, oh, the first 10, 5 or 10 of these probably were nothing. Yeah.
yeah, and they were debunking their
Mm.
own video,
Yeah, at the end they were.
and it's great that these guys are top notch, and
Mm.
they're willing to say, "Hey, listen to this or watch this," and I thought it was really good. I'm not being a fangirl, but
No, you're not fangirling like Mythos was. Now, to be fair to Mythos, he's trying to create content for his channel. So he
yeah,
has to, if he's doing a reaction video, he has to react. And a lot of times
yeah,
they overreact to make it look good. And I
yeah,
think that's what he was
yeah.
doing. But it's clear he's a fan of the Ouija Brothers, just like Beardo's a fan of the Ouija Brothers. But you,
Well, I am
yeah.
a fan of them too.
Mhm. But I think when you're
Yeah,
doing reviews and things like that, you have to look at it objectively. You can't just go in there
yeah,
going, oh, God, look at them. Look how great they are. No, you have to go in objectively. And if one of us is doing the fangirl thing, the other has to be the foil and say, but wait.
yeah,
And I feel like that's my job here today. But it was a beautiful facility. You could clearly see this gorgeous wooden banisters and
yeah,
stuff. I mean, the
yeah,
thing going upstairs, the stairwell, it still had the little electric chair lift to take people up the stairs because,
yeah,
obviously there's no elevators or whatever. So, I mean, it was still there and it was in
yeah,
beautiful shape. It wasn't dusty,
yeah.
dirty, nothing. And that's why I think this place was not the abandoned place that everybody says it is.
But it's funny, like he said, it scared the shit out of you if it all of a sudden came up
Oh,
empty.
if it started moving, yeah. And the funny thing is they didn't try the light switches or anything that I saw anyway. And maybe they've tried that in the
Yeah,
past or whatever. I don't know. But apparently the clip that we saw was 2 years old. He showed
yeah.
so
Well,
2 years
they're
old.
going back.
Yeah. So the episode that Mythos was reviewing at first was 2 years old. So it's somewhere in their history.
Yeah,
I don't think we've seen that one. I mean, they have so many videos.
no,
We might not have seen that one yet.
yeah,
But, and they may well have flicked the light switch to see if it worked. I don't know. A lot of people don't do that when they just assume something's abandoned. No, let's not check. And we know for a fact that people leave lights and water on because we've seen that in
yeah,
many videos
yeah,
that, and you don't just, abandon something and leave all the
yeah,
utilities on. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, then Mythos is talking and talking and talking and talking about how great the Ouija brothers are and whatever. And he's showing clips of them talking after the fact, like they're afterwards, and he shows a clip
Yeah.
of the audio, raw footage audio that they sent to him, where he says that stuff was definitely not overlaid. He would have been able to see that. And yes, you would have been able to see that in the
Yeah.
raw footage if there was an overlay, if it was the
Yeah.
actual raw footage. Now, it's easy to spoof raw footage too, but I'm not going to say that they did that.
But
They generally are very ethical. So I'm going to say that they
yeah.
didn't. And he says that when he hears that this sound, that it's clearly not overlaid in there. So, okay, that's good. And then
Yeah.
he goes to another, the continuation of this, I guess. It's 2 years later now,
Right.
and they want to go back. They'd love to go in and see if they're still going to get the same stuff. But they get there, and the place is so different. It is no longer the beautiful
Yeah.
building that it once was. Now they have like
Yeah.
windows and that door all boarded up. Windows are smashed
Yeah.
out. It looks like, sometimes I think these paranormal investigators and or urban explorers do a lot of disservice to these old places because they bring in a lot of attention. And people aren't always
Yeah.
as ethical as they should be. So they go in and they damage.
Yeah.
They break windows. I mean, kids go to have parties and whatever, destroy the place. And I think that's so sad
Yeah.
because not only did they have some fencing in some spots around this place, and some of it's been pulled down so people can get closer, they've also got a great big no trespassing sign now beside the door that's been boarded up or replaced or something. And there's an
Right.
alarm sounding. So it's now alarmed to
Yeah.
keep people out. And so they don't go in. And they say, oh, it's really sad. They've heard stories of what's happened inside, and they really can't go in. But they do find, now, so this is recent, they do find a video from someone who did get in January something 2025. So just recently. And holy
Right.
God, what a difference, hey?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They have ripped
It
out flooring, like right down to the
yeah.
nothing. They've taken out like
Yeah.
the upstairs, like the whole, like at the top of the stairs is a great big area. There's nothing there. I mean, dead air. You can't really go up
Yeah.
the stairs because they've got some sort of, it's almost like a big
Yeah.
old bed
Screw.
frame blocking it, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
really know what that is. That beautiful wood
I,
doesn't even
I
seem to
don't
be
know.
there, like the wooden banisters. I didn't even notice that because
Yeah.
they've got door
Yeah.
frames ripped off,
Yeah.
all this flooring right down to the ground almost, where the pipes are and stuff all missing. And some of it
Yeah.
is so that people couldn't go in, I believe. But he also said that they are renovating this place. They want to turn it into apartments. I don't know if you caught that part.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously they're building, like breaking it right down to the bare bones to rebuild it.
Right.
Which in some ways is really sad because it's such a beautiful building without,
It was.
but we don't know what condition it was in before they started to rip everything apart. If so many people were
Yeah.
in there damaging it, they probably did a lot of damage to it, you know?
Yeah.
And like we were talking, I had said something about how come they're not keeping the doors locked. You said, well, they don't lock things over there, and I think they do, but they get tired of replacing broken locks all the time with all these people breaking in.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you made a comment about security driving by every so often. And then I said
Yeah.
that a lot of these so-called paranormal explorers / urban investigators, they probably know when the security vehicles drive by because these security companies are on schedules. And so they look at their watch. They can keep an eye of, 5 days in a row, they're coming at the same time. You know how much time you have to get in there and explore and get out again before they come around. We
Yeah.
watched one video a while back, and I forget which one it was. It was like an old, not a school, but do you remember?
A hospital. Yeah.
No. It could have been a hostel or something. But remember the main floor area had that beautiful carved picture, like
Oh,
into the wood.
yeah, yeah. It was,
Yeah, the first time we saw it was gorgeous, and then the second time we saw it, somebody else broke in. It wasn't quite so gorgeous. I mean, it was still nice, but not
yeah,
as nice. But
yeah,
we'd also heard someone else commenting, and it was during one of these videos, that said the reason that you see people going in there with their night vision is because then the security people don't know someone's inside versus using just a
yeah,
flashlight. That's why they're using those night vision cameras. Hmm. So
yeah,
they could be in there doing all sorts of damage and you don't know. You just don't know. Just like
yeah,
those people that those people that went into that church attached to that school. Remember, they go into the church that they're not supposed to be there, but they got
yeah,
their night vision. So
yeah,
of course that place had all the
yeah,
lights on. So they didn't even have to worry about their
yeah.
night vision cameras. They just went in. I wonder whatever happened to that. I wonder if they got in trouble or if they even told anybody
I
that
don't
that's
know.
what they did. They probably didn't say a
Mindseed
word.
is,
Mindseed, that was them, right?
I think it was Mindseed.
Could have been.
Yeah,
But I wonder if they got in
yeah.
trouble.
But no, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope they did.
But they wouldn't
You
have if
know,
they never
that
mentioned
was,
it. Hmm?
yeah,
But with any luck, the
yeah,
people saw the video and would know that they were inside when they were
yeah,
expressly told not to go inside. Yeah. But yeah, this one, it was sad to see the condition of the building just
yeah.
2 years later.
The before and after,
Hmm.
you never seen it that, but but if they're gutting it to
Yeah. To
make
rebuild it.
apartments, yeah,
Hmm.
it makes sense, but it's still sad,
I would think that if the place was still in really good condition, they wouldn't have to gut it the way they did. They would have kept some of it.
Yeah,
They wouldn't have had to gut it to the ground. The flooring, remove all the flooring right to the ground, um, because there would be no need to if it was still in good shape and sturdy and everything. I suspect that there was a lot of crap that happened inside.
yeah,
And I wouldn't be surprised if there
yeah,
were, kids having parties and stuff, and they like to paint on the
yeah,
walls and tag everything, and idiots totally
yeah,
destroying this beautiful building.
yeah. No,
By the same
that's a
token, they
sad
did
part.
show those pipes, and you could see how old and rusted those pipes were. So obviously that's all got to be
Right.
ripped out and cleaned up too. So maybe they would have had to. But I think, just like they said, that it's because they needed to keep people away. So they had to rip out the flooring,
Yeah,
which is pretty sad,
yeah,
really sad.
yeah,
And it's all boarded up now.
yeah,
It's too bad. Too bad. It was a beautiful
yeah.
building.
Yeah, it
Anyway,
was such a beautiful place.
yeah.
Yeah.
So was this video one of my favorites? No, no. Like I said, I didn't like all the fangirling. I mean, you you have to be,
Um,
show some decorum there, Mythos.
but at the same time, you gotta give the guys props
Hmm.
for being honest,
Yes. Yeah,
and
because they did say later on that they didn't think that it was paranormal. Now, I don't know what they think it was. They don't know what it was. But I think there was
yeah,
enough doubt in their mind that they couldn't come out and say it was paranormal. And that is the
yeah,
ethos that we subscribe to. That's, for us, when in doubt, throw it out. And that's what they
yeah.
did. And so you have to appreciate that.
To go to Beardo and Mythos and give them the raw footage and
Hmm.
what do you think? And
Well, these guys have nothing to hide. They have
yeah,
nothing to hide. And I appreciate that. There's too many fakes
yeah,
out there that are creating content and making things look scarier than it is. This
Yeah.
Proving demons, dude. Ugh. I mean, there's
Yeah.
other things that I just no, no, no. In fact, there's another proving demons that just popped up on my timeline about something, and I don't want to look at
Mm,
it, but I'm going to have to look at it because what has he done now? I also saw something just pop up from Simply Strange, something new about the Conjuring House owner and how she's done
yeah.
something new, unhinged or something, and I don't know. But I like to keep up on what's going on there, so we'll see what's happening there.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, this wasn't my most favorite of Mythos videos. I am glad that I did
Yeah.
turn it back on to watch to the end after you told me about the floors being ripped up and how it was so different. But I did have to sit
Yeah.
through all that other stuff, and fuck you for that. Um, but you know what? We don't
Uh-huh.
have to always agree, right?
Yeah.
That's part of opinions.
That's,
And so it wasn't
yeah.
my favorite, but I did
You,
appreciate the way it ended. Getting past all
yes.
the fangirling to the real stuff. It was just getting there
Yeah.
that I struggled with. And sometimes, like I said, if you hadn't mentioned how it kind of turns out, I wouldn't have watched it to the end. In fact, I was prepared to fast forward over a bunch of it to get to the parts where you were telling me about,
Yeah.
but I didn't.
Yeah.
I was a good girl. I suffered through it for you.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. But I appreciate
Yeah,
realism.
yeah, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I did like the guy that was with the Ouija Brothers with his hair. It was gorgeous, full and shiny. I don't know who he was, but I loved his hair.
Yeah. I think he's a regular.
He's a
He's
friend of theirs anyway.
with
I know
it.
that, but I don't know who he is. But he's got this beautiful shoulder length, thick brown, shiny hair. Oh my God. To rival any girl that I know. He's got beautiful. It's always the men that have the beautiful hair. Anyways, folks,
Well, yeah.
we will put a link to this because it might be something you want to look at. It is interesting if you can get past all the, oh my God, they're so wonderful stuff. And then to see
Oh,
this building at the end, it's just heartbreaking to see what's happened to this building.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they can turn it into a really nice apartment building because it's got good bones, really good bones. If
Yeah.
some of that
Yeah.
wood and the beautiful mahogany, it looks like, banister and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Folks,
Yeah.
that's what we've got for you today. Hope you have a great
Yes.
day, evening, night, wherever you are in this great wide world.
Happy hunting.
Happy haunting. Bye now.